Finally, we began the last part. Here is question 38. And on 38, we have a FOIL. And this one is a FOIL because there's no operation sign in between there. So 9 times -5 is -45. And 9 times 6i is 63i. And -6i times -5i is positive 30i. And -6i times -6i is a positive 6i is -36i squared. So you'll remember that you have to simplify the I squared parts. And so this really turns into plus 36. So since we have to write this in standard form, we have -45 plus 36.
Wait, 9 times 6 is 54.
This one?
Yeah.
So that's 54?
On video.
Thank you. So it's 54i. Is that better? And somehow my writing got off, but we'll keep going and put 38 underneath that. I made it so you can't read it? It's too skinny? Okay, I'll fix it on the... Let me know if this is better. If it gets too thick, you can't read it because it's too fat, but we'll keep working with it until we get it perfected. So now we need to collect like terms. And when we collect like terms, these two add to give us -60i. No, -84i. And this is -45 and positive 36. So this is -9 plus 84i. Does that work out? -45 and positive 36 is -9. 54 and 30 make 84. And standard form means you write the number first. Okay. For question 39, we have to simplify this radical piece. And so we have -18 and plus, and we're going to simplify this piece now into -1 times 3 times 3 times 7. All over 3. And so the square root of -1 is I, and the 3 comes out. So this then becomes -18 plus 3i, square roots of 7, over 3. Now, since 3 goes into all 3 of these, see how I made a triangle? I'm going to factor out a 3. So it's -3 times times 6 minus, and that's gonna get ugly. Let's not do the -3. Let's do the +3. The -3 will work, but it probably is a little more complex than we need it to be. So let's just do 3. 3 times -6 plus I square roots of 7 over 3. Now these 3's will cancel. You know, the most common mistake is people try to cancel 3 with the 18, and you can never cancel when there is a plus between those. So now I have the answer as -6 plus I square roots of 7. Okay, number 40. Before you multiply this, you need to simplify this by taking the I out. So this is going to be negative 3 plus, this is actually 10I because it's negative 1 times 10 times 10. So this is negative 3 plus 10I times negative 3 plus 10I. So negative 3 times negative 3 is positive 9. Negative 3 times 10I is 30I. 10 times negative 3 is negative 30I. Shouldn't this one have been negative also? Shouldn't this one have been negative also? No? Yes? I think it's yes. This is minus 30I and minus 30I for the outer and inner terms. And then 10 times 10 is 100, so that's 100I squared. So I squared is negative 1, so this is actually negative 100. So 9 minus 100 is negative 91, and then negative 30I and negative 30I is negative 60I. Okay, way back to the beginning of the quarter now, we're evaluating absolute values. So 6 plus negative 9 is negative 3. You have to work in there first. The absolute value of negative 3 is 3. So everybody's going to get some points on the quarter test because you know exactly what those stand for. Okay, let's take a look at 42 then.
Wait, what was 41?
41 is 3. The absolute value of negative 3 is 3. 6 plus negative 9.
Plus negative 3.
The answer is 3. Okay, taking a look at 42. And we spent a little time on graphing linear equations because we seem to have a little trouble with it. But this one should be some easy points for you. This is in y-intercept form, so the very first thing you do is graph 3. And then from 3, you use the slope. So I'm going to go up 1 and left 2. And now I can draw my line through those 2 points. So here is the line. We actually need to draw arrows on both ends, but we'll get that. So this is my line. So graphing that from this, all I looked at was B, which is negative 3, and the slope. This is a negative slope, so it actually should be slanted to the left. If it was a positive slope, it should be slanted to the right. So it should be pretty easy for you to check your work on that one. Okay, moving on to the last page. You guys are going to ace this test on Friday. Just a quick reminder, though, it is the end of the quarter, so there's almost no time for makeups. You need to make sure you're here on Friday. That was my dilemma in giving your test so late in the quarter. But let's get this finished. We have to subtract here. So this means we're going to distribute this. So this is going to be minus x to the 4th and minus 5xy and minus 3y cubed. So now what I need to do is collect like terms. Minus y cubed. I kind of squeeze that in there. So 6x to the 4th minus x to the 4th is going to give me 5x to the 4th. 3xy minus 5xy is going to give me negative 2xy. And finally, negative y to the 3rd and negative 3y to the 3rd is negative 4y to the third. Okay, number 44. This is a literal equation. You did this way back in Algebra 1, but let's review it. This says that we need to solve this for h. So I want it, when I'm done, to say h equals. So the h is right here. So I'm going to isolate the term with the h in it. So it's going to be s minus 2 pi r squared equals 2 pi r squared h. Now, to get the h by itself, I'm going to divide both sides by 2 pi r squared. So s minus 2 pi r squared divided by 2 pi r squared is going to be h. So let's just write it there. Ooh. Yeah, that was bad, wasn't it? You don't like my circle, Mim, too?
Can we go over it? Yeah. Can you go
Yes.
over it?
Yeah. So in question 45, we need to set this equal to 0. And to me, I'm going to have trouble factoring this because 2 times 2 is 4. Factors of 4 that add or subtract to give me 6 don't really exist with integers. So I'm going to choose to use the quadratic equation. Thank you. Should definitely be positive too. So, in the quadratic equation, x equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So, finishing this up, we would have negative 6 plus or minus the square root of negative 6 squared minus 4 times 2 times 2 all over 2 times 2. And remember, that's because A is 2, B is 6, and C is 2. So just to double check, this is positive. I don't think that's going to make a big difference, but just wanted to have that clear. So this is negative 6 plus or minus the square root of 36 minus 2 times 2 times 4, so that's minus 16 over 4. So we have negative 6 plus or minus the square root of 20 over 4. And that gives us negative 6 plus or minus 2 square roots of 5 over 4. And that's because 20 factors into 4 times 5, or 2 times 2 times 5. So remember, that's under the radical. The 2's come out. So I have 2 square roots of 5. Now this, we can simplify, bringing out a 2. So 2 times negative 2 plus or minus the square root of 5 over 2. The 2's cancel. So our final answer is negative 2 plus or minus the square root of 5. And that completes our study guide.